So let's begin by diving in to the facade of the Halton police, as well questionable ways that it is ran by the chief in charge, Tanner. I'll also look into at the end and explain something that will give one pause for thought. Here is the first review. Well, reading it looks like it's a police officer. So let's see this. This is August 21st, 2024. The incident with us happened on May 13th, 2024. So let's look at it. They gave it a 2 rating. Their current employee, more than 10 years, Oakville, Ontario. The pros is pay and vacation is okay. I know police officers get $100K a year, and you only have to have high school education. And I'm sorry to say, I think it shows. Newer employees are undertrained. However, they are not putting up with the BS, and it's so nice to see that they can move on and not worry about being loyal to a ship that is sinking. Well, good for them. Actually, really good for them. Cons: out of touch management. Actually, they are openly dishonest and try to hide their mistakes and at the same time. And Wayne and I have definitely seen that here. Punish employees for mistakes that are made or even dishonesty, but in the most extreme terms. Nepotism and favoritism runs rampant. They buy their awards. The board seems to be either complicit or otherwise refuse to acknowledge or accept how employees openly talk about the state of the crisis of frontline policing and other issues. The community is also clueless, and those that are vocal are shut down. It says here complaints by the public are suppressed. Check Google reviews. Now, Google itself, I was thinking for years they haven't allowed you to actually put your reviews on police stations. But I did Google, and I will show you later what I found. Overall, Halton Regional Police has been run into the ground. If it were a private business, the chief would have been fired long ago, and the place would have been bankrupt. I have been working there for decades, and even though there were issues before, I feel the management style of recent times is egotistical and very arrogant and entitled. And this attitude has flowed downward to employees. The sense of community and teamwork that we once had no longer exists. Looking forward to moving on soon. Thank you for good times back in the day. Advice to management: remove your thick layer of smugness. Be humble. Listen with empathy to the people who have put their blood, sweat, and tears into your service. Listen to community concerns. You are lost, and I hope you can self-reflect on what you have done to this once decent place. Okay, so here's a review. It's a 1 on Glassdoor, September 13th, 2024, a police constable. So pros is good pay for the most part. Toxic work environment. Okay, so let's open it up and see the full review here. Okay, so toxic work environment. Criminals within the department go unpunished. We have a Ponzi scheme. Former fraud investigator running a platoon. His former toxic boss removed and placed in a position of counting paper clips in HR, where she can no longer harm people. she used to bully, and recently the boss of HR just fired for bullying employees below her. Common theme. Rookies being forced to resign because of threats from the association that the Halton board never ever reverses a decision rubber stamped by a chief that has no business being the chief. Problems are constantly swept under the table, and officers as well as civilian employees constantly intimidated. It's time for the upper management to step up, admit their wrongs, and make this place a desirable place to work. As it stands now, you would be better slinging coffee at Tim Hortons. Advice to management: look after your people and they will look after you. Man up, as they say about your issues. Reach out to those who have been forced to resign and those who had enough and left for greener pastures. My God, get a grip. Okay, here's one. July. This is an older one. It's going July 20th, 2016. So, anyways, they gave it a 2. Good shift and pay and benefits. Not the hardest place to police because it's Oakville. And later I'm going to cover the mentality of Oakville, which, you know what? Everybody knows different communities have mentalities, and there is a mentality of Oakville. Lack of leadership, chronism, culture of favoritism, and backstabbing. Promotion based on who you are rather than ability. That makes sense. I'm I'm starting to think Frono has connections. That's why, you know, they're doing their best to hide him and what he does. But he is an endangerment to the public and safety to all. And the rest of them as well that were involved in that day. Management more interested in self-gain than frontline policing. Selective implementation of discipline with those in the cartel. You know what? I'm feeling as well that the Halton Regional Police more run like a mafia, and I'll explain that later, of their favorites. And then they put brackets, even with possible criminal offenses. Advice to management: start properly investigating criminal allegations against employees, even those in the cartel. Stop chasing every PC because you can find and get back to supporting the frontline officers. Put a stop to chronism and promotion of the people who know how to play the competency game. The people who should be getting promoted are being ignored in favor of incompetents who can play the game or who simply crawl around the right senior officers. Well, this one gave the 1. Advice says become a plumber. They're a police constable. It's going back June 8, 2021. And it says they're a current employee, more than 10 years, Oakville, Ontario. It says, seems like a cool job at first. Super toxic work environment. Management are all fake. The whole place is falling apart. While officers are jumping ship at unprecedented rates, stay clear. Advice to management: nepotism and double standards will destroy the service. Now, guys, recently the Halton Regional Police, they even have on their website, there's been a sergeant, I think of 18 years, charged with fraud after an OPP investigation. And then they posted that on their website. Now, let me just explain. I did investigate. They may have posted it on their website, But for fraud, on the articles, it says multiple reports of this fraud. You can go on the OPP website and you can do the reports yourself. So it goes past, you know, the Halton Regional Police investigating themselves. So, lucky in the case of fraud here, those people were able, and you can go and also check the site and you can see, and I'll even post a link in the description to show that that's the one good thing, is that you don't have to report fraud when it's like this to the police station. You can go through the OPP, which I have to say that was one good thing for them, that there is the OPP that investigates fraud. Actually, I took a break while doing this video and I was on their website looking at it, and there is a general inquiry. So I did make an inquiry about, the setting up of fabrication of evidence, because I do know that Chief Tanner is supposed to actually report that. It doesn't seem that he has, so I am going to find out and see how I can get the balls rolling, or can I say to say that? Well, and have it investigated while, the Halton Regional Police try to just sweep it under the rug. But no, currently right now, if those police sergeant Ferrono, Underwood, and the other two that were in the morning incidents, which I can't remember their names now, are still working on the street with the general public, and all those who are like them, which I found there's more like them, they would be, like I said, endangerment to the public with justice. So we'll see what happens. I just did a general inquiry and I requested a call back. So you'll have to see the update on that. So one thing I also did like months ago, okay, because I'm frustrated. I mean, this should be something that, if we did live in a world where police and the heads of the organizations were concerned about crime, they would be investigating their own, including the ones who fabricate evidence and plant evidence and perjury and assault, right? I mean, am I not wrong? Now, because of my frustration, I decided to reach out, and I, now seeing today, well, like what we were reading, because I do feel it seems more like a cartel that's being ran than a police station. It says Oakville Mayor Rob Burton has resigned from the Halton Police Board after telling police chief that it was okay for him to go away to Florida, during the COVID crisis, when they said, he would have been a crucial worker and should not have been going away, but he went away. And Oakville Mayor Rob Burton stated, this was 4 years ago, that he would resign from the Halton Police Board after, giving the police chief that permission. He's currently still the mayor of Oakville. So I'm curious how that worked. He resigned, because here we have Mayor Steve Tanner going away when nobody else that was an emergency support worker or anything else was a crucial worker was supposed to leave, but he did. And here's the mayor of Oakville who, looks like he valiantly came to stand up for him, to say it's his fault, and he resigned. But yet, hold on, he's still the mayor of Oakville. So I'm curious if anybody wants to know about that. I guess it pays when you have, friends in high places, and there's a group of friends that, work together to hide, back each other up, give each other the fist pump type of thing, because that is quite odd.
Halton Police Chief Stephen Tanner says he's south of the border for business reasons, and while he had some support to travel, the move is drawing pushback.
Becomes seen by me and our members as very hypocritical to take the approach that, do as I say and not as I do.
President of Halton's Police Association, Clay Gillis, says he and staff realized the chief was gone after an officer died Tuesday. The chief tells us in a statement, "My decision to travel in light of the ongoing COVID-19 situation was a poor decision and one that I deeply regret. I am returning to the country this weekend and will be complying with the requirements to quarantine." The Halton chief says he went to Florida in late December, and police board chair and Oakville mayor Rob Burton says he was informed about him leaving on December 22nd. He tells CHCH News, Chief Tanner informed me in advance of his travel to tend to a property matter. I had no objection. He continues to have my full confidence.
It was ill-advised. There are property management companies that can handle properties in other places.
This comes in light of the pandemic travels of numerous public officials, including former St. Joseph's Healthcare CEO Dr. Tom Stewart, who went on a Caribbean vacation, and Hamilton Conservative MP David Sweet, who traveled to Mexico over the holidays. Both had resignations following the trips. Burlington Mayor Marianne Mead Ward believes the moves do not help with the fight against COVID-19.
It's eroded public trust at a time where we need the public to trust in the advice that they're getting from public health officials.
Gillis says officers are frustrated with the news and says Tanner usually notifies staff about his travels.
That certainly wasn't done in this case, and now people feel like, there's questioning on whether that was intent to make this sort of surreptitious or whatnot, and those are questions that he's going to have to answer.
Jason Gaidola, CHCH News.
Okay. Well, that was from CHCH News. The video entitled is called Halton's Police Chief Apologizes for Taking a Trip to Florida. And that was 4 years ago. And I love reading comments. Someone wrote, "This is the same guy that called MPP Randy an idiot for having dinner with his family on Christmas. This is the same guy who told his officers to enforce on constitutional laws." Well, I guess it's the case of do what I say and not what I do, because my badge rules over you. Another person wrote, "Halton region is a disgrace. Thank God I don't live there. Canadian way of dealing with despicable behavior. Asking them to say they are sorry and presto changeo, all is forgiven. Murder in Canada is almost the same for the assailant. Maximum 25 years, less time served. Less your Liberal membership discount, less you have to say you're sorry. Okay, sentence reduced to 2 years with parole review in 6 months." That was the second comment that was there, because I'm just reading them. And then the third comment, someone just did an emoji of trash. I'll leave it to you to come up with, what you think of it. Now, hold on a second. While I was just, doing some research, I just found this article, CBC News. Title of article is Halton Police Constable Facing Charges After Firing Service Gun. Now, this was posted February 23rd, 2024. So last year. It goes, a Halton Regional Police officer is facing charges after accidentally, now the word is accidentally, firing a gun in January. The officer was handling a police-issued gun during the course of his duties. So when the weapon was accidentally discharged. No one was injured. Police say the incident happened in Burlington, and the charges are a result of internal investigation. As per service policy, an investigation was conducted by members of regional investigative services who, by mandate, investigate all events where a service member discharges a firearm. Anyways, the officer now just faces careless use of a firearm. Has worked for the force for 6 years, the release said. He's been suspended, with pay, of course, in accordance with the Police Services Act. And it says will appear in Milton Court on April 3rd. A Hamilton police constable, Brandon Turdick, recently lost his job after admitting mishandling his gun twice. Turdick was charged with pointing a firearm and careless use of a firearm in October 2021 after he pointed his gun at a fellow officer while on duty. So he was pointing his gun, this Hamilton police, at another officer while on duty. Doesn't that sound a little bit questionable? He later faced second charge for using his gun in a careless manner relating to a separate incident. All I'm gonna say is, like, seriously, what is going on with the police in Canada? Now, I'm just looking back here because I'm, like, really at awe. Because it goes a Halton Regional Police Officer. But is it the same officer in this article? It's hard to say. Because the article, talks about a Halton Regional Police Officer. And then it says a Hamilton Police Officer. Right? Now, the Halton Regional Police Officer, I'm just looking at, they didn't put his name anywhere here. So his name is eliminated. And he was on duty as well. And, accidentally discharged. There's police officers. Obviously, he was holding the gun. Because how can it be discharged? But it says accidentally discharged. You know what? Something doesn't smell kosher. And I don't think it takes a genius to figure that out. There's a lot of police cover-ups as well. So with a little bit of investigation, I did read this article. It's on Reddit. It's 4 years ago. It says charges laid against Halton Regional Police Service Officer. Incident took place on April 8, 2020 in Oakville on 3rd Line and Dundas Street. Now, you can see he was guilty twice before, but was still working as a cop. But someone actually there wrote it wasn't twice. It was number 6 with the Halton Police Services. And it says he also worked for TPS. I guess that's Toronto Police Service before that. So it's Constable Mathers. And he has a discipline history with the Halton Regional Police Service. And they put the dates there: June 19th, October 29th, August 19th, April 26th, June 11th, from 2014 to 2018. You can actually pause my video if you want to read it. And as someone stated, no doubt he was suspended with pay every time. Now, media and Halton police made it like, almost like Halton Regional Police was the one who initiated it. But actually, it was a Instagrammer. Let's see, what was his name again? Let me look this up. 6ix Buzz TV, who actually made that assault that's quite famous of Mathers assaulting the man for loitering. That's what it was for, loitering. While the rest of the officers looked on. It had to go viral before the Halton Regional Police thought, well, we better do something about it. We can't defend him now that it's gone viral. Now, the article states Constable Jason Mathers has been charged with assault with a weapon and mischief under 5,000 following an independent external investigation. The Halton Police Services said in the news. And then here we have the mayor, the one that I sent information, and he remains quiet with Chief Tanner. In the article, he condemned it, saying the behavior is unprofessional and undisciplined. I guess you have to go viral before they put on the pretense of caring to investigate. I know, I'm not very much on camera. Just try to get over the way I feel, try to get over what they've done to us. So I'm doing a lot of investigating. Anyways, follow us, like and subscribe. And if I could ask you guys, I'm going to put a link to the end of this description for the OPP. And I will give Wayne's, I think it's called the OCC number. I'm not sure right now, but I will look it up. And if you can actually encourage, with multiple requests, encourage them to, investigate the fabrication of lies and evidence of Sergeant Ferrono, Constable Underwood, and daughter too from the morning before in it, I would really, actually, Wayne and I would greatly appreciate it.